A year ago, I was standing across the way as we brought you the final Hambletonian raced in front of the old Meadowlands grandstand. This year, we're over here in front of the new $110 million facility. Hi everyone, I'm Ken Weingartner, and this is a special edition of Ion Harness Racing. And joining me is Allison Conte. And Allison, the post position draw on Tuesday was very interesting, and that Father Patrick drew post 10. That could open things up maybe for some other horses.
It certainly could open things up for some other horses, particularly Jimmy Takter's other two horses, Trixton and Nuncio. We were out at Jimmy Takter's farm this week to check out the big three heading into the Hambletonian.
Just get one horse, I mean, that's exciting, but you know, I mean, all three horses are really exceptional, and they're good, and you know, so far they're looking exceptional. He hated beats and things like that, you know, and you know, fortunately he grew out of there. You know, he was fussing around with his mouth all the time as a 2-year-old, but you know, when it come push to show, he, you know, he's a champ, you know, so they don't pay attention to that anymore. Both Patrick and Nuncio have a little bit more gate speed than my horse have, and so, you know, they're going to probably be ahead of mine. But you know, I mean, he's a class horse. He's a good horse, and if the pace set up and he get the right trip, you know, he can finish very well, that horse. I'm going to have a hard time to, you know, I think really Father Patrick stands so much out. He's, you know, after I saw the qualify Saturday, he was just phenomenal. You know, I mean, the horse he got everything, I think.
Now that was Jimmy Takter before the draw. But you know what? The Father Patrick camp was still very confident following it. Here's Yannick Gingras.
I don't think there's one horse to worry about. I think they should all worry about Father Patrick.
And your game plan for Saturday?
Well, I ain't taking back, that's for sure.
Well, Father Patrick might be the one to beat, but I know somebody will be gunning for him, and that's his stablemate Nuncio, who's also the only horse ever to defeat Patrick and has the winningest driver in Hambletonian history, John Campbell, behind him on Saturday.
I'm maybe a little more laid back, and at the same time, I'm excited. I can't wait for that race, and you know, I know what I'm going to do. There's no decision on strategy. It's going to be fun.
Well, we can't forget about Trixton either. He still seems to have a lot left in the tank, and he's the 7-2 second choice on the morning line. But this isn't all about Jimmy Takter. There's a lot of other horses in this race. And Allie, you were able to visit with Tron Smedshammer and find out a little bit about his.
That's right, Ken. Today we went to go see Royal Ice. Now, Royal Ice only has 7 starts lifetime and less money earned than it cost to put him in this race. He sounds like a long shot, and he's definitely a wild card, but I have to think that a Hambletonian veteran like Tron knows what he's doing.
I thought it wouldn't be eliminations, and that was probably the biggest reason why I put him in. You know, and they, you know, anything can happen. So he certainly, you know, after last week's performance, he deserves a shot, I think.
You know, it's just amazing. The horse, you know, he's had 7 lifetime starts, and, you know, he's at the top of the level. I mean, you know, with the best. And, you know, that really says something for him.
There was probably a time where it was more likely that Francisco Del Cid would have started a horse out here on the turf course than in there on the harness racing track. But that was a long time ago. Del Cid used to be a thoroughbred exercise rider, but he changed to harness racing in the late 1980s. And now he has a starter in the Hambletonian.
We've been working all year long and always having high hopes for it. And last week we trained him very early, trained him to make a decision whether he's going to put him in a Hambo, and the horse went a mile, something that never did it before. He went pretty good mile.
Well, Saturday also features the $500,000 Hambletonian Oaks for 3-year-old filly trotters. Now, world champion Designed to Be, coming from Team Miller, has had some traffic trouble in her last couple starts, and she's going to be looking to settle the score.
I think she'll be very good. We've had a couple troubled trips the last couple weeks, and hopefully racing luck's on our side this week. And I think she's coming into herself real good and got a good shot.
In an ideal scenario, how do you want to see that race play out?
I want to see him go a little bigger fractions.
You want to catch the sport's best older trotters? Make sure you tune in for the Cashman Memorial. We've got world champion Sebastian K, two-time Dan Patch Award winner Market Share, Maple Leaf Trot winner Intimidate, and Archangel, who we caught up with this week having a little romp in the paddock.
Well, Ken, I'd say he deserved it. He just did set a world record on this track in 150 flat.
You know who else deserves some recognition? Arch Madness.
He sure does. That's a classy veteran who's been in this division a long time, and we caught up with his caretaker this week. She told me that Arch is just as good as ever, and he could jump up and win one of these races at any time. And he looks great, holds his weight. I noticed you did put the shoes on him.
He always wears shoes home. It's only when he's racing he don't wear shoes, because otherwise the feet will never hold up if we wear shoes all the time. But last week we was playing maybe to have the shoes on because of elimination, but still the track was super as usual at Meadowlands, so they're not going to hurt the feet or anything, so that's why we decided to pull the shoes.
Do you think that he's going to race barefoot this week?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And he's been staying sound that way?
Yeah, no, he's been staying sound all spring, and he raced much better barefoot. And if the weather, allow it, and hopefully no rain, so he's going to be good to Saturday, yeah.
Hey, Allie, do you think this horseshoe will bring me good luck?
Well, I don't know, Ken. It might not bring you as much luck as this shoe. This is a razor shoe, and this is what Father Patrick's going to be wearing in the Hambletonian on Saturday. These shoes were developed in part with Connie Svensson, Jimmy Tactor's blacksmith, and the ownership group that brings us Trixton.
So they slide a little bit in the landing, yet they have a lot of traction when they get to push off. And then you also have that flexibility in the material, so when a horse lands at high speed, they land right underneath themselves, so they land on the outside heel, and being that this can flex, the bone column stay straight, so they just get more power.
Mutuals Online is the best place to bet on live horse races, at home or on the go. Earn rewards, free live video and replay, a no-fee, legal, secure way to wager, and #1 in customer support. Welcome to the club. Sign up now for a $25 credit.
Usually at this point in the show, you'd see Paul Ramlow making his paddock picks, but Paul's not here. Never fear, though. He sent me his picks for the Hambletonian. And, probably not to anyone's surprise, Paul is taking Father Patrick on top. He expects Father Patrick to continue his winning ways and capture the Hambletonian. He takes Father Patrick over his stablemate Nunzio, and for third place, he likes to score with Datsuk. At about 5:15 p.m. on Saturday, the winner of the Hambletonian is going to come down this stretch and put their name in the history books.
That's right, Ken, and we've talked a lot about the Hambletonian and the Hambletonian Oaks, but we haven't even touched on the pacing stakes races that will be here on Saturday.
That's right. It's a great afternoon of racing. Be sure to tune in on TVG throughout the day and on CBS Sports Network beginning at 4 o'clock. And don't forget to check back Saturday night for a special edition of Ion Harness Racing covering the day's activities. And as the sun sets on this edition of Ion Harness Racing, I'd like to thank you for joining us. I'm Ken Weingartner.
And I'm Allison Conte, and come out to the Meadowlands. We'll see you Saturday for the 89th edition of the Hambletonian.